As sports fans, we know that when you travel to a game, it is not just about being in the big city, and it is definitely not just about watching the sport. We know it is all about having a good time. With Ultimate Game Day TV and your host Blair Huff, we show you how to make your day epic.
I'm Blair Huff and welcome to Ultimate Game Day TV, the show by sports fans for sports fans to show you how to have the ultimate game day experience when you're in town. Our first episode is bringing us to lovely Toronto, Ontario. Yes, it's Canada. Yes, it's the middle of February. Yes, it's cold. But that's not going to stop us from having an ultimate game day. In the background, you can see the Rogers Centre, home to Toronto Blue Jays of Major League Baseball. Right down the road is home to the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Toronto Raptors. Toronto is a sports town. We're going to go around and we're going to see what you need to do to have a great ultimate game day. We're here at the corner of Front and Yonge in downtown Toronto at our first stop on the Ultimate Game Day experience. The place we're going to visit is going to showcase the history of Canada's national game. Our first stop is going to be the Hockey Hall of Fame. Hockey's always been Canada's game, and it's only fitting that the Sports Hall of Fame resides in the nation's largest city. The exhibit has been at its current location at Front and Yonge since June of 1993. The current hall occupies space in a building that's over 100 years old and was once a Bank of Montreal. Old vaults located in the Grand Hall show evidence of the building's banking past. Though hockey is often seen as a truly Canadian thing, the sport is played in nearly 100 countries around the globe. The International Hockey exhibit at the Hall of Fame pays homage to the global nature of the game, featuring jerseys and other artifacts from different countries. Also part of this exhibit is a display recognizing what is arguably one of Canada's biggest victories on the world stage, Sidney Crosby's golden goal from the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver. On display are the net, gloves, puck, and stick used when Crosby brought an entire nation to their feet on home ice. Along to Jerome again. Crosby scores! It's over! Other exhibits include a nod to the NHL franchises known as the Original Six, the groundbreaking 1972 Canada-Russia Summit Series, the collection of Stanley Cup rings, the history of the NHL All-Star Game, and the growth and development of women's hockey. No hockey museum's complete without paying tribute to the Great One. No discussion about hockey greats can take place without mentioning Wayne Gretzky, and memorabilia from his career adorn their own exhibit. Gretzky's the NHL's all-time leading scorer, and the Hall of Fame features a display recognizing his record-breaking 802nd career goal. He finished with 894 markers in his career, a record that may never be broken. In addition to all of the amazing displays, the Hall of Fame offers a number of interactive activities for guests. Visitors can take in a 3D movie entitled Stanley's Game 7. They can pick up the microphone and do the play-by-play of a historic hockey moment, or they can strap on the gear and play goalie against some of the NHL's best snipers. I stepped between the pipes to test my skills, and the results were as you'd expect. There's also the chance to pick up a stick and try to score against the NHL's top goalies. And Peter, who was visiting Toronto from Croatia, took his turn and made out much better than I did in net. The Hall of Fame's nestled nicely in the heart of Toronto Maple Leafs territory, but the Hall pays a tribute to Leaf rivals, the Montreal Canadiens. A replica of the Canadiens' dressing room from the legendary Montreal Forum houses artifacts, stats, jerseys, and memorabilia from the 24-time Stanley Cup champs.
And all together they work the young team to the top. And now a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
A perfect place to end any trip to the Hockey Hall of Fame is the Great Hall. This section of the building dates back to the late 1800s, was once a bank, and still features the original bank vaults. The Great Hall houses the plaques commemorating the over 375 Hall of Fame inductees, including legends like Gretzky, Messier, Ray Bourque, and Punch Imlach. It also hosts the annual induction ceremony every November. The NHL annual awards trophies also call the Great Hall home. The Hart Trophy, Vezina, and Calder are all the same ones handed out to the NHL stars following each season. Another trophy that's given out at the end of every season is one of the most famous championship trophies in sports, and it's on display in the Great Hall. The Stanley Cup is on display out in the open, giving fans the chance to get up close and personal with Lord Stanley's mug. They can snap a few pictures and read the names of all the NHL players who've won an NHL championship. The cup on display, however, isn't the original cup, which was first awarded in 1893, nor is it the one handed out on the ice to the league champ. It's a replica. It does, however, have all the same details as the original cup, right down to the bite marks and scratches. The original silver bowl and other components of the trophy collected over time can be seen behind the glass in the Great Hall's vault. Coming up next, we'll visit a new Toronto landmark with a unique historic past as our Ultimate Game Day continues.
Shootout simulator audition, take one.
It's game time at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Face off against today's best players and share your game cam videos. The Hockey Hall of Fame. It's your time to play.
I believe that everybody has the right to live in a community
where they feel safe, included, valued, and accepted regardless of their differences.
I pledge to be respectful of others
and stand up against bullying whenever and wherever I see it.
Anti-bullying, baby.
I was made to move mountains. I was born to move mountains. I was made to move mountains. I was born to move mountains.
Worked up a sweat at the Hockey Hall of Fame, and even though it's the middle of February, we're gonna need to cool down. And how are we gonna do that? Beer. We're here at the John Street Roundhouse, home to Steamwhistle Brewery. We're gonna go inside, have a couple of brews, and see how they make beer and take the tour. Steamwhistle Brewing is the brainchild of Greg Taylor, Cam Heaps, and Greg Cromwell. As they sat around a campfire in the late 1990s, the trio, with a background in craft brewing, set forth to make a Pilsner that would compete with the best in the world. They assembled their team, found a home, and developed their recipe, and the rest, as they say, is history. So we're here at Steamwhistle Brewery with Tim. Tim's the brand manager here. Tim, for sports fan, we're right in the thick of things here. The arena down the road, baseball stadium down the road, even less than that. If I'm a sports fan, why do I want to be at Steamwhistle on game day?
Well, welcome to Steamwhistle first and foremost. Love having everybody who wants to come down to the brewery, come down and check it out. And you know, if you're a sports fan, it's a great place to be for a number of reasons. But I guess first and foremost, the fact that we're sitting less than 100 meters away from the Rogers Center, less than probably 500 meters away from the ACC. We're really in the heart of all the action as far as most of the Toronto sports franchises go. So we're very happy that a lot of fans out there really look to include Steamwhistle in part of their game day experience.
So Steamwhistle is one of the bigger names in craft brewing in Canada. Tell us a little bit about the history of the company.
Well, Steamwhistle's been around, I guess, right now about 15 years almost. Our first bottle rolled off the line in the spring of 2000. And what makes Steamwhistle unique is really, we only make one beer. Our slogan is do one thing really, really well. So 100% of our attention goes into making one beer, a premium craft Pilsner that we hope Canadians can be proud of. So
tell us about the name Steamwhistle, where it came from.
The name Steamwhistle is interesting in the sense that a lot of people think it has to do with the fact that we brew out of an old historic train roundhouse. But really the name Steamwhistle is really supposed to really conjure up a lot of that imagery from, you know, that golden era of, you know, steam whistle on top of the factory, and, you know, the excitement you would get at the end of the workday when you hear the steam whistle going off.
Sure.
So.
And you mentioned the Roundhouse. Tell us how it kind of came to be the Roundhouse.
Yeah, I mean, the building is, we're obviously very lucky to be in this building. This is the John Street Roundhouse, which was built in 1929 by Canadian Pacific Railways, mainly to serve as their main train maintenance facility. So, you know, they used to maintain steam locomotives down here for many years, and in 1989 they shut the actual maintenance of trains here down, and we were very lucky to be able to become the first tenant of the Roundhouse, and we've been brewing beer here ever since.
Now, as a sports fan, if I come in here, you already said, well, you know, yeah, what am I going to experience when I get in here?
Well, if you're a sports fan, it's a great place to come before the game. I mean, if you're here down on a Blue Jays game day, we've got probably well over 300, 400 fans in here drinking beer. You know, if you want to come down and do a tour, you can do that, because we do tours every single day, but it can be as simple as coming in for a free sample of beer, or if you want to come in and have a few pints and get warmed up, we welcome that too. So game days, specifically Blue Jay game days, we have all kinds of programming going on. So normally we're partnered up with a local food vendor, but whether that's a food truck or a pop-up shop. We usually have a DJ, you know, spinning down here. So it really adds to sort of a festive atmosphere before you head over to the Rogers Centre.
So you're right close to the home base of all these Toronto teams. There's bound to be some great stories about athletes and whatnot coming in here. Yeah,
I mean, obviously because of our proximity to all of the sports venues, we do have a fair amount of athletes and coaches and you know, members of the organizations rolling through here. I know we had one of the video coaches from the Jets in here last week. You know, one of my favorite stories is I used to work in our retail store doing tours and serving beer, and one day Thomas Caberlet walked in. This is when he was star defenseman on the Leafs, and we just got to chatting. Obviously, he's from the Czech Republic, and I mentioned that our brewmaster is also of Czech heritage and obviously from the Czech Republic. So I mentioned that to him, and he asked me to invite our brewmaster to come down and say hi. And they ended up drinking beer in his office for like 3 or 4 hours because they just hit it off right away, which was kind of neat.
Now, if there's one thing our viewers need to know about what they can experience at Steamwhistle in a quick message, what would it be?
Well, I mean, I would encourage you, even if you can't make it down to the brewery, to go out and try Steamwhistle. It pairs very nicely with sitting down and watching a game, whether that's baseball, hockey, football, whatever your thing is. But also, if you ever are in downtown Toronto, even if it isn't a game day, we are open every single day of the week except for Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So, encourage you to come down, enjoy a beer, and figure out what we're all about.
And if they can't make it down to Toronto, Steamwhistle can be found?
Steamwhistle.ca. You can check us out online. Obviously, we're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well, so check us out there too.
Excellent. And I found out earlier for our American friends, you're going to have to come up and visit yourself. So that's going to do it with Tim here from Steamwhistle. We're going to take a look around, see what else we have to offer at the brewery, and enjoy the rest of our Ultimate Game Day. When you take the tour at Steamwhistle, you get the chance to stroll through the catwalk of the building, looking down on the brewing process in action. The knowledgeable and friendly staff give you insight on the history of the company and the building, plus they clue you in on what it takes to turn hops, barley, and water into a cold, refreshing Pilsner. Best of all, you start the tour with a cold bottle right out of the fridge. Our tour guide Vince showed us the ropes, and like all the other staff members we met, he was enthusiastic and loved being a part of the Steamwhistle family. Also on the tour, you'll hear about the company's green initiatives, including their waste diversion program, bottle recycling, and ingredient sourcing. You'll also get a look at the testing and quality control areas of the brewery, plus you'll get a peek at the company's unique promotional and delivery vehicles, including vans named Steamweaver and the Steam Machine, and trucks dubbed the Scout, Lumpy, and Chuckles. Once the tour's over, there's a chance to hit the bar and buy another drink or grab a few cans or bottles to take home and enjoy later. There's also a gift shop with products that embody Steamwhistle's unique and hip style. Remember though that you don't need to take the tour to stop in and enjoy a cold Steamwhistle Pilsner. The brewery and bar is open nearly every day, but be sure to check steamwhistle.ca to see what's going on when you plan to visit. The next stop on our Ultimate Game Day experience is to a bar and restaurant with its roots in France that's making a big splash in downtown Toronto.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your cleats.
If you're happy, you know it, clap your cleats.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
Back! Let's finish strong!
If you're happy and you know it, clap your cleats.
What, buddy?
That's Sidney Crosby. That's Sidney Crosby!
You may not be a pro, but that doesn't mean you can't look like a pro.
Oh my god, Kyle Clutterbug. Clutterbug!
We saw hockey history at the Hall of Fame, and we tried some cold beers at Steamwhistle Brewery. Now I know what you're thinking, I'm hungry and I need another beer. Luckily for you, the next stop on our Ultimate Game Day experience has both. Nestled on the edge of the business district in Toronto, right down the road from the Air Canada Centre, is 3 Brewers. Here they offer amazing food, they brew their beer on site, and it's a great place to enjoy a pregame on your Ultimate Game Day experience.
Located on Adelaide Street, just east of York, 3 Brewers is a great place to meet up with friends before you make your way to see a game, or to grab a seat at the bar, order a phlegm, and watch the game from a stool. I started my visit by sitting down with 3 Brewers General Manager Chris Knight to get the scoop on why his place is a must-see.
So Chris, when a sports fan comes in here on a game day, into the 3 Brewers, what are they going to experience?
It's a neighborhood pub. You know, we have a close tie with the neighborhood, so you get that neighborhood feel when you walk in. So it's like walking into a buddy's place to watch the game. Generally a lot of fans for a lot of sports. Toronto's a busy place, there's always something going on. So you'll have a lot of cross-section of fans, from the shirt and tie to the guys with the jerseys and the hats and all the gear. And then everybody's just looking to have a good time.
When I come into the 3 Brewers, you've got beer, you've got food, what do I have to try?
What do you have to try? Well, the beer's the number one. It's a must. You know, we brew everything in-house, so we've got a selection of 5 classic beers, plus a couple of seasonal ones and interchangeable beers. Our beers are number one for us. You have to try those. My personal favorite is the Amber. We also do one here at the Adelaide Street location, which is a stout, which is only available at this location. It's not available at any other 3 Brewers. And if you're a stout drinker like I am, it's a must-have.
Fantastic. Now, there's so many great places to eat in Toronto. It's massive and worldly. What makes 3 Brewers a must-visit?
3 Brewers, it's distinctly unique. We are a microbrewery, but we don't just have one beer. Like I said, we've got 7 on tap that are all brewed in-house. I have a full-time brewer, brews 24/7, and that's what really makes this place special. You can come in here, and our brew is we've got a brew for everybody. So we like to think that the food complements our food really well. We incorporate a lot of our beer into a lot of our food.
3 Brewers goes back to Europe, into France.
Yeah.
How does that influence the food?
It definitely influences the food from a menu standpoint. We have what we call a flamme couche, or a flamme, in-house. It's a Belgian-style flatbread, very similar to something you may find at a market or an outdoor restaurant in France. The restaurant started in Lille, and they've grown a number of restaurants over Europe. And then we moved to Montreal in the mid-90s and grown from there. And this is the most recent location, opening up in November 2014.
The nature of the food at the 3 Brewers screams comfort. The menu features something to put anyone at ease, but does so with a gourmet flair. To whet the Canadian appetite, there's original pulled pork and chicken and bacon poutine that go well alongside any of their great burger offerings. Fish and chips is also a house specialty, taking cod fillet and dipping it in blonde beer batter. It gives you the subtle flavors of the beer mixed with the heartiness of the fish, and it is delicious. As Chris told us, the Flamme Couche is the signature dish at the Three Brewers. Originally a street food found in the Alsace region of France, this is clearly comfort food of the highest regard. Get your flamme decked out in the freshest meats, cheeses, and vegetables in one of the 8 types offered on the menu. And nothing goes with finely brewed beer like sausage. The menu combines German, Italian, and Frankfurt sausages with roasted potatoes and vegetables, and goes great with the Three Brewers Brown Ale. And as it always does on an Ultimate Game Day, the talk turns to beer. No one's more fun to talk with about beer than the man who makes it all happen at the Three Brewers. Okay, so we're here with Steven, the regional head brewer for Three Brewers. We're here for beers. Steven, tell us about some of the beers you've got, why we should come here and have a beer.
Yeah, for sure. So we are the Three Brewers, we are the brewers first, and we provide a unique experience on brewing process as well as unique food experience. So as you can see behind me, this is our brew house. We make all our beers on site. We don't have delivery trucks. Everything you tasted, drink here on site, we made here by hand. So very unique system here we have. We imported from Europe, and you will see we have a brewers here working full time. Every restaurant, every all locations have its own brewers, and we do brewery tours. So if you guys are interested in the brewing process and also how we make our beer, we set up special sessions for people to learn about our beer and also do brewery tours.
Now, we've talked before, and you've mentioned pairing the beers with the food.
Yes.
You got a unique balance of what you can do as far as pairings?
Yeah, so at the Three Brewers, we highly recommend a dish with your beer. So we have color-coded systems as well. The waitresses are highly educated on what sort of style of the beer you want to match with your food. So we always go by lighter beer will match up really well with some of the seafood and salad dishes here, and some of the darker, sort of the stronger styles we have, or the browns, will be good with the grilled dishes. Yeah.
Tell us about a unique beer, one of the most unique beers that you make here. What would you?
Yeah, so we're making a lot of unique beer. One of them for this location, we're doing an oatmeal stout. So everything's we get them try to get them as local as we can. So we use the local malt as well as some of the hops, and to make this beer and to bring out just for this neighborhood to show the history of the neighborhood. This used to be called the Bear Street before Bay Street was renamed. So stuff like that.
When you're brewing, what's your philosophy in brewing beer?
My philosophy of brewing is that I will never serve a beer that I'm not proud of to my friends. So if I have my friends, my fellow brewers come in and have a beer, I want to make sure that's the beer I'm going to serve to them. So for every customer comes here, I want them to taste the beer that's brewed, by the best cares and enthusiasm by our brewers. So
now, for somebody that walks in the door, how many different types of beer are you pouring at any one time?
Anytime at our location, we do 7 types of beers. Yeah.
7 types?
Yeah. We are also doing other beers such as casting beers and et cetera in the later dates.
Excellent. So now we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to try some of the great beers brewed by Steven here at Three Brewers on Adelaide.
Cheers.
All right, so we've got our flight of beers here, sampling of what you have at the Three Brewers. Let's try some. What do we have?
So first up, I would recommend we start from the lighter to the darker ones. So we have Belgian white beer. White meaning we use a special strain of the Belgian wheat yeast to give this little haziness look to it, and it's a very traditional thirst crunching Belgian ale. So here we go. Yeah.
Fruity flavors to it?
Yeah, so it gets a little bit clove, a little banana. It's due to the fermentation and the yeast strain we have here. So yeah.
It's a nice start.
Yeah.
What do we have next on there?
So next at the Three Brewers, we have our #1 seller, the Blanc. The Blanc is made with 100% Canadian Pilsner malt. It's very crisp, but with a bold, funky finish because we're using a special British hops for this brew. So give it a go.
What am I going to experience when I taste this?
You're going to see a lot of malt backbone, so a lot of clean, crispy biscuitness to it. And then on your nose, you always smell the hops. So very citrusy and a note to it.
Doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Let's
What's next?
So our third one is our amber, where we brewed it with a crystal malt to give this natural amber color. And again, we use European hops and the Canadian malt. So it's the best of the two worlds.
Very caramelized, kind of oaky smoke.
Yeah, it's
flavor.
the caramelized malt we use, or the crystal malt. Yeah,
Another good one.
So on our selection here, this one is unfiltered IPA, the 3 brewer IPA. You get the full flavor. We use very aggressive American hops. We dry hop it, and we age in it dry beer tanks, and we taste it. You'll feel it, and it's very floral and fruity. But it's a clean bitterness finish at the end.
You said unfiltered, right?
Unfiltered, yeah.
What's that add to a beer?
So more character. So when you filter, you remove a lot of ingredients. You remove a lot of stuff that you want customer experience. Some of the yeast, some of the protein inside. So you want to have a beer that's full flavor, then you shouldn't filter it. You let them taste everything. So
excellent. Good choice. Getting darker now.
It's getting dark, so that's all brown. Brown, we use a chocolate malt, so give it that sort of roasted chocolate, like a nose to it, but no chocolate inside, just chocolate malt. So give it a try.
Definitely has.
So this will pair really well with some of the 3 brewer grill dishes to match with the the barbecue sauce or some of the fried calamari and stuff. Yeah.
Very good. Very hearty beer.
Yes, yes.
And finally,
it's a very unique brew for this location. It's all neighborhood beer. It's called Bear Street Oatmeal Stout, as you can tell from the color and the beer. And it's brewed with black chocolate malt and oat. So this is a full body beer, so yeah, it's full body, so it pairs well with some of the stronger dishes we have here at 3 Brewers.
Excellent. That's going to do it for our Ultimate Game Day in Toronto. We experienced hockey history at the Hall of Fame, saw beer being made, and we sampled some incredible food. But these are just a few of the things to do in Canada's largest city. I'd like to thank all those that helped us out on our game day experience today. So for Ultimate Game Day, I'm Blair Huff, and we'll see you next time.